her with answering the question.
What was the
Every cat
question?
What they actually
See
do
how
Oh, I'm
for
sorry.
organization.
every Cat Health Foundation is actually almost 60 years old, and we're a nonprofit that is completely focused on cat health research. That is our mission, and we stick to it. And that research helps not only the cats, but the people who love them or the people who are learning about them today.
What's the old adage of cats having 9 lives? Is it based upon their agility to jump from heights or something? Where did that come from initially? Anybody?
I'd say I can't say I know. I would say that in vet school there was a saying: if you put two cat bones in the same room, they'll heal. So maybe kind of a resiliency to heal in some situations. Of course, there's things that are tough on their body, but maybe I would say kind of that it would come back and surprise people. But I can't tell you the exact place that came from.
Is that
Danielle,
true?
did you learn that at your vet school?
Is that true? Like that's a thing?
Well,
They,
I think that's an interesting question too, and I've never really thought about where that could have potentially come from. But I think, yeah, I would echo what Maggie said, that cats are amazingly good healers. Even when cats come in with these horrific wounds and we think, oh gosh, this is never going to heal, and we check them a week later and it's like a miracle happened. We see that quite often. I would say the flip side to that is because cats are so good at hiding signs of illness. I think it could also be kind of like a misconception that, oh, they can recover really quickly, where maybe they haven't as recovered quite as fast, but they're just not telling us that they're maybe actually still in pain or discomfort. So I would kind of add that piece in too.
Do the attributes of the house cat anyway mirror those of the large cats in Africa? Is there similar? I mean, same genus?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting because I think about I live in Colorado and we have a wildcat sanctuary here, and there's a section where you can just kind of look at, the lions and tigers and see them
Oh
from
my.
above, just kind of resting. And their mannerisms are similar. The way they groom themselves, the way they play is all really similar. So it's really quite interesting.
The one
think
similarity, it says they sleep 70% of the time. Is that true?
Yeah, I believe that.
I think he's a cat.
I'm a cat.
love it.
Sorry.
To
I
to
can't
what
do
Danielle
that.
said, I've seen that a lot of these larger cats also like similar enrichment and toys that your house cat might. So a tiger might sit in a box, like a house cat might like to play in a box, or similar type toys, just on a larger scale. And Jackie, you probably know more about zoo animal enrichment than we do, but
You guys are doing great.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Well,
So yeah, I'd say I think it's same genus, not same species, if my Latin's correct there. But yes, some cats liking water, some not. So yeah, I think a cat's a cat, and then they, have some unique qualities as you break it down. Yeah.
And 50 years this year, right? Or coming up soon?
60.
Or 60, sorry, 60 years. 60,
The
that's right, 60, yeah,
foundation?
60 years.
Wow, that's huge.
So take us back to how it's all started. Like, where did this all start? And obviously now you're this tremendous organization with an incredible endowment, helping people all over the place. But how did it all start?
Oh, well, 60 years ago, I wasn't working in this field, but
You're a little tyke. Not even maybe.
I was in high school.
but people, particularly with the Cat Fanciers Association, interested in breeding cats and cat lineage and having healthy cats, were interested in learning more about them, keeping their cats healthy. And these are the folks that realized that cats were unlike any other creature. They weren't small dogs, they weren't little people. They had their own health concerns. And a gentleman named Robert Wynn, who was the attorney for the Cat Fanciers Association, I think he put down $150 at the time to start and inspire others to donate toward cat health research. We have grown, thankfully, exponentially since that time, and other cat registries. And then people who just love cats or think they might like cats someday, or like to learn about the connection between the wild cats and the house cats and how we're all related with One Health considerations, etc., have become interested in every cat. I will say that we were named for our founder up until 5 years ago. And we realized that we really needed to speak to a broader audience because every cat health foundation is for every cat everywhere, every day throughout the world. We look at all house cats globally and how we can help them through research that we fund.
What state did it start in?
Our mail goes to New Jersey, but Maggie is in Louisiana, Danielle is in Denver. We have board members in Canada, and we fund research all throughout the world.
Wow.
So tell us about some of the research that you've been able to discover or implement based on, being able to raise money for that. Like, can you give us one of your groundbreaking things that have come from the foundation, having the support of donors, anything that comes to light of that?
Yeah, well, I can jump in here to kind of expand on what Jackie was saying. So to the mention of 60 years ago, cat lovers, breeders just said, hey, it's great that we know so much about dogs. We need to know unique things about cats. So, excuse me, a better understanding of blood types in cats, how to do, say, a blood transfusion in cats. If you would need to help a cat, it can't be done the same way as a dog or a human. The idea that blood pressure is important for them as well. So, but they need certain size cuffs, like a pediatric cuff, to get a good reading. The idea that this was before me, but the idea that a cat and a dog used to be fed the same food. Cats need certain elements in their diet that, support their eye health, heart health, the need for taurine. So the idea that a cat not having taurine could cause them to have certain heart conditions, saved cats' lives. So the fact that a cat is not a small dog. Other things, Jackie mentioned the idea that learning about things in the cat species or certain species can help us help other species. For example, the coronavirus, a coronavirus has for a long time affected a lot of cats' intestinal tracts, sometimes mutating to a fatal disease called feline infectious peritonitis. But point is, that virus we've been studying for a long time to try to help those cats. COVID was a coronavirus. So in knowing about how this virus affected that species was a launch pad when the human side had to say, okay, what do we know about coronaviruses anywhere, and how can that help with what we're facing? So again, that translational aspect and just things that we didn't think about. When you start studying cats, you have to establish what the cat's normal is. So what's a normal heart rate for a cat? So what are their normals? What are their conditions? How can we help them? So that's what we've been trucking through for 60 years now.
What is the normal heart rate?
What's that? Get out of my brain.
Yeah. So I mean, there's kittens, there's adults, are they stressed? Are they not stressed? So it would really, I guess a kitten in the clinic, like 180, I wouldn't be worried about. They're hyper, their little hearts are like little hummingbirds. How about you, Danielle? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like, so we run the, on the vet side, we run the gamut of pediatrics to gerontology, keeping all that in mind.
Wow.
Specifically for cats in this case.
What's blood pressure like?
So it's a good question, because you can imagine most cats in a clinic, it's going to be a little high. So we talk about, I don't know if the white coat effect came from the human side, but a practitioner may take into account, okay, this cat's blood pressure is higher. They're in the clinic. I've seen situations where we'll recommend that the owner and the cat maybe have time to settle in the room for a little while before we check it. Some cases, there's mobile veterinarians and practices that might check it at home. You can imagine there's some dedicated owners that will try to learn to check it at home. So we try to realize what's going on with the animal, what can we control, and then maybe we give a little, maybe apply a different range to the situation with that cat. Could we give them a gentle...
What's optimal for an adult cat?
So I would say, I mean, definitely above, again, I'm saying 180 would be high. Again, are they really stressed? What's the situation? So I think that's kind of one where we consider the situation. Could we give them a gentle little sedative to relax them that would not affect the blood pressure? So it's a dance, and then you get into medicating cats, which
kind of like what you do.
That was the systolic. What's the diastolic?
I think we tend to focus on systolic just in the clinic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, under, say, anesthesia,
using...
you might watch both, but yeah.
Yeah, and usually with the type of blood pressure machine that we're using with the Doppler, the focus would be on the systolic number. So like Maggie said, trying to keep it within the normal range. But I think what's so hard in cats, especially because a lot of our cats are indoor only, and when we bring them into the vet, it's like they're, once a year,
Strange
twice a
environment
year
too.
outing that can be quite stressful. And so we have to take that into consideration when we're looking at their heart rate and their blood pressure and even some of their physical exam findings too. So that